the #1 show on Netflix. Yeah, I'll give it a try.
Smoking on top fives. Stop playing, I'm that guy.
Here on Stupid Reviews, I like to watch things and review them stupidly. So here's my authentic thoughts on this crazy ass series about cannibalism. Of course, this video is going to contain spoilers.
That's a spoiler.
Also, the timeline in this show can get a little confusing at times, so I'm going to just have the year listed at the bottom because I care that much. Episode 1. Jeffrey Dahmer meets this black dude at a bar, whose name is Tracy Edwards, by the way, and they go back to Jeff's apartment.
Home sweet home.
This is the part in the theater when everyone's like,
Don't go in there, don't go in there.
About 25 minutes of this episode takes place in Dahmer's apartment. Even before Jeff does anything criminal, Tracy is like,
Do you smell shit? I smell shit.
Jeff randomly handcuffs Tracy, and then Tracy tries seducing him by dancing all sexual with his shirt off. And I commend this dude for even being calm right now, because Dahmer keeps walking around with a knife and is clearly a psycho.
What movie is this again? This is The Exorcist 3. I watch it every day.
Wow, man, you're pretty weird. After watching a shitty movie, Tracy is able to escape and runs into the police, and luckily, they believe him, and Dahmer gets arrested. Episode 2. Lionel Dahmer is Jeffrey Dahmer's dad and is now told by the police that his son was dismantling other humans. We're going back in time to when little Jeffrey was still learning how to murder people. At one time, Lionel was young and he was helping his 5-year-old son dissect animals in the shed.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Along with the weird dynamic with his dad, Jeff's parents are also fighting a lot.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Get out!
Oh, I will.
Get the fuck out!
A knife? You gonna kill me?
You're gonna kill me. You're gonna fucking kill me.
Jeff has a run-in with a 14-year-old kid that says he knows him because he did some weird shit to his brother. More on that in a few. Also, 14. Who the hell tries to do sexual stuff with a 14-year-old? Jeffrey drugs his kid and puts on another movie.
You seen this? Return of the Jedi.
This guy has terrible taste in movies. Some time passes, the kid wakes up and is able to escape, and people are suspicious of this 14-year-old kid walking around looking like Tarzan. So they call the police.
Son, how old are you?
He's 19. Can I please just take him inside?
All right. What apartment is it?
So the cops let this passed out naked kid go back into the apartment without any real confirmation that he lived there.
That's stupid. You're stupid. Stop being stupid.
The cops are dumb AF in this series. You're gonna hear me say that a lot in this video. But for real, just rewatch the last couple of minutes of episode 2 where they play a real life phone call.
You need the names or information or anything from us?
No, not at all.
Episode 3. Here we are, further exploring Dahmer's fetish for organs. After hearing his parents yelling, he starts jerking off and thinking about a gutted fish. Now he's in high school about to dissect some pigs.
Do we have to do this?
Yes.
Okay, but I'm a vegetarian.
Fuck you!
Chaz is a dick to animals.
Wanna come over and dissect it?
Are you fucking kidding me?
Chaz is a dick to dicks. In this episode, Jeff's parents are getting a divorce. The funny thing is, old man Lionel says that they got a divorce when Jeff was 18.
His mother and I divorced. It was very hard on him. He just turned 18. He was living alone at the time.
But he's actually 17. Either meaning that the dad didn't really give a fuck enough to remember when he actually got divorced, or he's senile. But in all honesty, him and Joyce are a terrible couple. Speaking of Joyce, she is all over the place in this series. I do really feel bad for Joyce because I feel like she's given a bad break. Her relationship sucks, and she doesn't even have a great relationship with her kid. Lionel disappears for some time after the divorce, and Joyce also leaves.
Go take my brother and chase UFOs.
They're real!
I got some weed, drink a few beers, lift some weights.
Yeah, you had me at weed. Jeff offers to take this runner guy to some concert, but they don't make it because he kills him. So this is actually Jeff's first kill. You never forget your first. And he's pretty stressed out for a sec. However, like 20 minutes later, he's like, I can go dissect this man. And he does. And thank God it didn't show it. I'm not really into the torture porn genre, like Fresh. Sometimes things are scarier when you don't have to see it. Also, that's nasty. Episode 4, and there's still much more. So it turns out Jeff's been living home all alone for 3 months after his mom left, and his dad was out getting some new booty. His dad and this lady, I'm joking, her name was Sherry, and she's actually very nice, try getting Jeff on the right path because he's been drinking, his grades suck, and he's a murderer.
Well, what about community college?
Community college, that's like for failures.
Jeff's dad pays for him to go to Ohio State, and he fails.
Jeff's GPA is a 0.45.
Oh, Jesus.
I guess community college ain't the only place for failures, huh? Jeff goes to the Army.
You're going in the fucking Army.
For like a year. When he comes back, Jeff moves in with his grandma, and she's always telling him to go to church because he's weird. Jeff is like, please, grandma, don't go in my room. So naturally, she goes in his room. And then she finds this mannequin in his bed.
Where is my fucking mannequin?
Jeff, I think she threw it away.
God damn it! God fucking damn it!
So now Jeff is sexually frustrated and starts jerking off in the middle of a carnival.
Oh, my goodness.
Jeff is still going to bars and drugging men, and I'm just waiting for the trial to start now. Yeah, next episode? Episode 5, and we're staying alive. So Dahmer's being interrogated and explains how his early kills were accidental. Sure, okay. But eventually his kills become more premeditated as he starts drinking more. And you really gotta feel for the grandma in this situation. She definitely suspects something is up, but she's pretty oblivious to it because it's her grandson. Jeff offers to drive another person somewhere and then he drugs them. Jeez, this guy's like Cardi B. But this time the guy is able to escape because the grandma kinda helped out. He goes to the cops and explains everything. And nothing happens.
So let me get this straight. You're gonna take the word of a white guy who's got a criminal record over the word of a black man who doesn't have a criminal record.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Later on in the episode, Dahmer goes to trial for sexually harassing a 13-year-old and gets a slap on the motherfucking wrist. Now, if you haven't seen this show, you might be thinking to yourself, wow, this Jeffrey Dahmer guy is pretty smart. He must be crafty with his words. But nah, the people around him are just idiots. There's some things I understand him getting away with, but for the most part, the cops in this show are as competent as a couple of stormtroopers. Also, he moves into that apartment that we first saw him in the first episode, so it's all full circle now. Episode 6, and damn, this shit is sick. This is a very sad episode. There's a backstory about Tony Hughes. Tony aspires to be a model and is overall shown to be a nice person, but then he goes to the bar and runs into Jeff. Unlike the previous killings that have happened so far, Jeff and Tony are actually kind of dating. Jeff and Tony are having a pretty nice night together, but Tony's got to leave because Tony's got a job. Jeff is feeling anger, sadness, frustration, and I'm not sure, but I think he's going to kill Tony with that hammer. And then we find out that Tony's been missing for 2 days. Mama Hughes goes up to the police station because she's worried. Obviously, the cops do. Nothing. It is confirmed that Jeff did kill Tony, and the episode ends with Jeff cooking some part of Tony and eating him.
Oh, Jesus.
Episode 7, thank God there's not 11. So this episode, the beginning at least, follows the story of the neighbor, Glenda Cleveland, who was constantly reporting to the cops that Dahmer seemed suspicious as fuck. The actress who plays Glenda is playing the hell out of this role. Every time she starts getting all worked up because the world around her is just terrible, she shows so many different emotional expressions in her face, and you really hear the pain in her voice.
I am saying somebody is being killed. Do you get that?
There's a scene in this episode that is extremely intense. So Glenda's been looking for this dude from room 308. She hasn't seen him in days, his mailbox is full, and the last time she did see him, he was with Jeff. So Glenda complains to the building manager that Dean's been missing, and also Dahmer's apartment smells like
shit.
So the manager gives Jeff an eviction notice. Jeff is obviously upset, so he walks over to Glenda's and gives her a sandwich, which I'm gonna assume is human meat. Ew, gross.
Eat the sandwich. I made it for you.
I'll eat it later.
I want to see you try it. See if you like it.
Get out of my apartment.
Eat it.
Yeah, this is traumatizing. To add even more insult to injury, she has to listen to this at night. Episode 8, and things are looking great because Dahmer is officially going to trial. Lionel is trying to be optimistic about this whole situation, but it's kind of fucked. Joyce has also been going through a lot of emotions during this episode, and majority of this episode is just about the effect that Dahmer's killings has on his family, as well as the families of the victims. Other than that, Jeff's dad tries to get Jeff to plead insanity, but he doesn't. Episode 9, and I'm all out of rhymes. Jeff is in prison and still being a weirdo.
Oh, you're a fucking freak, dude.
Lionel started writing this book about his experiences with Jeff and is making money. The families of the victims are all pissed and sue. Spoiler alert, they don't get any money. Meanwhile, Jeff is in prison getting fan mail.
My friends think I'm crazy for writing to you, but I wanted to say hi.
Dear Jeff, I'm your biggest fan.
What the hell is wrong with these people? You know what I really appreciate about this series? How they managed to get into the perspective of multiple people. It makes everyone's experience with Dahmer feel important. Right now I'm referring to one of Jeff's victims that managed to escape. He's also related to the 14-year-old boy that died at the hands of Jeff. Another really messed up aspect of this episode was how Glenda's daughter gets arrested for breaking that douchebag's camera. Now, to be fair, she did break his camera, but the fact that Glenda's been calling the cops for months about potential murders and no one shows up, but now this white boy got a broken camera and they show up instantly? Racism. Episode 10. The apartment building that Jeff lived in is getting knocked down, and Glenda wants a memorial for all those who died. The day that John Wayne Gacy got the death penalty is also the same day that Jeffrey Dahmer was baptized. Shortly after this, Jeff is killed after getting destroyed by one of God's disciples. After his death, his parents are still arguing. This time they were actually arguing about what to do with Jeff's brain. Joyce wanted to donate it to science, and Lionel wants to get it cremated with the rest of his body. The brain is ultimately terminated, and the series ends with the pictures of all the victims. God damn, the series was tragic. First of all, great acting job by Evan Peters and all the other actors and producers involved in this series. I would usually give a show or movie like this a rating, but it doesn't really feel right to do in this situation. And I think the important thing to remember here is that these are real people and real situations. It could be easy to forget that when you're watching these highly produced documentaries about murderers. But it's important to remember that this is a bad person.
I was just trying to do a good thing.
Don't be shy. Subscribe to that guy.